Kind of scary, but it's 33 popular Chrome extensions compromised.
Only Chrome is supposed to be harvesting your data, not the extensions.
Do the extensions have access to your credentials for Facebook and ChatGPT? I know what phishing is. It's the pretending to be some website so that you can harvest credentials. But what specifically does spear phishing mean? I think the moral of the story is just try to run as few browser extensions as possible.
My second story is the Doom Captcha, a fully playable Doom Captcha in nightmare mode.
It might be easier the ones that are like, click all the pictures that have a crosswalk in them, and then one of them doesn't appear to have a crosswalk, but you're looking down a long street here.
The ones that drive me crazy are the ones that are like, click all squares that include like the stoplight, right? And there's one square where there's like a pixel.
Yep, just a sliver
in it.
Tiny
little bit. Hello, how the tech are you? This is our weekly tech show on Eplex Media. We talk about science and tech news and other science and tech stuff we feel like talking about. I am historian Matt. I am a co-producer and co-host on this show. The other co-hosts will introduce themselves for their sections. So we're just going to jump right into my two stories. I got two stories. I got a scary story followed by a far more fun story. So I'll end on a fun story. But my first one is kind of scary, but it's 33 popular Chrome extensions compromised. Basically, there's at least 33 browser extensions hosted on Google's Chrome web store were compromised. They were basically stealing data from about a total of 2.6 million devices that they were installed on. Cyberhaven, a loss prevention service, was the first one to discover the compromise, and they were actually one of the browser extensions that were compromised. The compromised extensions seem to be looking for credentials for Facebook and possibly ChatGPT. Cyberhaven extension was compromised by a spear phishing email sent to the developers on Christmas Eve. So great time to send it. It warned that the extension wasn't in compliance with Google's terms and would be removed if action wasn't taken. Likely other extensions were compromised in the same manner. If I have a link to the original article on Ars Technica that has a list of all of the browser extensions that were compromised. So you should probably go look at that and see if you have any of those extensions. But otherwise, you should probably change your passwords on ChatGPT and, Facebook if you're still using that site. What do you guys think?
Only Chrome is supposed to be harvesting your data, not the extensions.
That's right. But hopefully Chrome is not harvesting your credentials for websites.
It has its own password manager.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder, like, do the extensions have access to your credentials for Facebook and ChatGPT?
I don't think so. I think it's searching your computer, like it has access to your computer directories or something. I don't know how it would do that, or like how much access you can give these extensions. So I think it was trying to get your magic cookie, basically, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's very scary. Also, a question. I know what phishing is. It's the pretending to be some website so that you can harvest credentials. But what specifically does spear phishing mean in this context?
Spear phishing is kind of what you said. It's being specific. So this was a very targeted phishing attempt where the email and the website that it was pointing people to were designed specifically for the targets. So in this case, the developers of these extensions. Since, there weren't a whole lot of these extensions that were compromised, we don't know how many of them got the email but weren't compromised. But it was, a small enough number that you could compromise a lot more devices by compromising just the extension developers. And so it's easy. It makes a lot of sense to put more effort into actually trying to phish them, which is very worrisome to me that this sort of thing can happen. And there is often no consequences, to the people who are, perpetrating the attack in the first place.
And there should be consequences to the developer who has kind of poor OPSEC and
Yeah. Well, I think the initial consequences to developers are a lot of people are probably going to just remove their extensions, if they're not safe. But like lawsuits or something, I'm not sure if that's going to happen or what. But that could also happen. But again, like all of this goes to the developers, not to the people who are causing the chaos to begin with. But it's possible that, it could be they don't know who did it. It could be state sponsored, or it could be just somebody, and likely it's at least somebody in another country that isn't bound by our laws.
Right.
I think the moral of the story is just try to run as few browser extensions as possible.
Yeah.
Most browser extensions are unnecessary.
Yeah, as far as I know, like all of the browser extensions, they were only compromised for, well, it depends, because this was like an ongoing thing. Cyberhaven wasn't compromised for very long. It was from Christmas Eve. But some of these other ones that were compromised, apparently like the earliest one was all the way back in May. So it's been compromised for that long. But from what I can tell, most, if not all of the extensions have been updated and are, removed the bad code, because all they had to do was just update it, to a clean version and kick the other guys out.
You know how during the live show, sometimes I'll like tab shame somebody for having 500 tabs open in the browser where they're presenting they should also have to show us how many extensions they have.
Yep.
You can see some of them because there's often like little icons in the top of your browser, but not all of them show up as icons because you don't interact with them. And I would probably be shamed mercilessly. This
is like it's probably just creeps on people. Like, do you remember in like the Windows XP days or whatever, at the bottom right next to the time, you'd go on your friend's computer and you'd click over there and they'd have like 94 things or something installed that were all running. They're like, why is my computer so slow? And I'm like, I don't know exactly how this works, but it seems that you have 7 antiviruses installed.
And like 14 browser bars.
Right.
They're all fighting for control over your computer.
Yep. Like swapping each other in and out.
So none of them are actually doing anything bad to your computer because none of them have enough of your computer's resources to actually do anything malicious to you. So you're fine until you want to do something.
That's right.
Yeah, it's always a good idea to go through, and the way I do it actually is I'll just get rid of all the extensions. And then when I find something that's so annoying that I need the extension, then I'll install the extension again.
Yeah, I think right now the only extension I have is Bitwarden.
I got to audit my extensions. I don't have very many, but like on this computer, I have more than I realize. So I have to look through them, and some of them are like like script saved or something like that. But
I have autoplay stopper, dark reader, and a password manager.
There we go.
Those are all very useful for when you're streaming, because you don't want anything auto playing when you're streaming. 2, if people are watching your stream and everything's all dark, and then all of a sudden some page comes up like the sun, and everybody's going to leave. And then a password manager. Everybody should have a password manager.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough. Any other comments? Should I move on to my next fun one?
Yeah, let's move on to the fun one. Well, not fun if you're not good at video games, apparently.
That's right. So my second story is the Doom Captcha. Basically, developer and tech CEO Guillermo Ranch has created possibly the hardest Captcha yet, a fully playable Doom Captcha in nightmare mode. So I didn't write this down, but just to be clear, Captcha is a little thing. I don't remember what it stands for, but it's a little thing that you have to fill out when you log on to a website to make sure you're not a bot. And so in this case, they're just going to have you play Doom in nightmare mode to prove that you're not a bot. I'm not sure how that really helps, but it's kind of been a long-running joke that developers will make Doom run on anything. Now it runs in a CAPTCHA. The CAPTCHA works by showing a window with Doom running in it, and you use the keyboard controls to get around, which is, I think the WASD to move, and then spacebar to fire. And you can move around in a playable level. And to pass the CAPTCHA, you must kill 3 enemies. Doom CAPTCHA runs in Nightmare difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty in Doom. So it's not easy to kill 3 enemies. And it's especially hard because you can only use keyboard controls. There's no mouse control, which if you are a longtime Doom player, mouse and keyboard is like the way to play. And people are already sharing strategies for passing the CAPTCHA online because it's so hard. And funny. And what do you guys think?
Whatever.
I love it. It's perfect.
I thought it was fun. I don't have an example of it or anything, but
it might be easier the ones that are like, click all the pictures that have a crosswalk in them, and then one of them doesn't appear to have a crosswalk, but you're looking down a long street here.
Yeah.
Or like click everything that's a bridge and then there's an overpass and you're like, okay, I don't call overpasses bridges, but I know some people do. Does it want me to choose the overpass?
Yeah. Right. The ones that drive me crazy are the ones that are like, click all squares that include like the stoplight, right? And there's one square where there's like a pixel.
Yep, just a sliver
in it.
Tiny
little bit. Like, do you include that or not? Like, is it going to count it or what? And then, but yeah, I usually do whatever and it passes. I don't think it's that sensitive, but it always drives me crazy. What do I do?
Yeah. I think honestly, probably like half the people click those squares and half the people don't. And they probably use that data to determine that like, okay, there's something in this square, but it's like not very much.
Right.
So like if you were to view like a heat map of, where people have said there's a stoplight, it would be like right on the stoplight and then just fade out towards the edge of the stoplight.
Yeah.
Maybe they use that data to determine something else about you. They're like, how crazy is this person?
How much do they value 1 pixel of a stoplight?
The other
probably
one
like OCD, like some form of measure of OCD.
The other one that they did that I began to really not like, but they've kind of stopped it now, is the one where they just had some word or something, and they would apply some I don't know something to it to skew it or background noise or something to kind of hide it. And originally it was pretty easy, but now because like a lot of these AI stuff is and AI vision is getting so much better now, they make it harder and harder to the point where it's like, I have no idea what's in this now, but an AI can figure it out, no problem.
You know what? That actually might be a good test, is like make it just like absolute garbled gook. Like it doesn't have any sort of recognizable letters or anything, and see if they click the give me a new one button, or if they try and guess it.
Confirm that you're real. Call me on Discord. like how you confirm someone that you're going to meet is real on Grindr. You're like, you got time for a quick video call?
Is this a real phone number? And it's just like 867-5309.
You're like, that is the realest phone number. That's Jenny's number. Well,
I remember reading something about somebody who had that phone number. They're like, I love the phone number, but I also hate it because people call it all the time.
I thought phone companies don't give that number out anymore.
I don't know.
If I was a phone company, I'd make you pay $1 million for it.
I actually use pro tip for anyone listening. I use that number, and you can too, at like any sort of like put in your number here and get special rewards. Like I'll do it at like Albertsons or Safeway. Those are like grocery stores in Southern California. So like I'll punch it in, and then I'll get like the special rewards price or whatever, the club price.
And it'll be all, hi, Jenny.
Yeah, like I never get any of the like spam texts because they don't know my real number. And it works with every area code too. So I just use like my area code and then 867-5309.
Well, someone named Jenny is racking up the rewards at Albertsons, let me tell you.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they don't do the thing where they like call you to verify your number or anything like that, or text to verify your number.
No. Frictionless. Anyway, thanks for listening to How the Tech Are You. We do this show once a week, and it posts whenever the hell it posts. You can find our other stuff at echoplexmedia.com. Listener, viewer supported stuff. So you can click the support tab while you're over there. I don't know, go look at the blog. I write one article a year. Your microwave will not show you the food inside of it if you don't click one of these two things that I'm pointing at on the YouTube video. Have a great tech and week.